Today, I'm going to tell you the story of Aladdin, because since the remake of Disney, a lot of folks on the internet seem to think that the original story of Aladdin took place in India, just because Disney misled most of us that don't know their stories. By the way, the remake of the movie was presented to you as a viewer. It was all in Indian style. So, listen up and listen well, because this is the true origins of the story of Aladdin, and you've heard it on this channel. So, did you grow up with the story of Aladdin, the lamp, the genie, the flying carpet? What if I told you that the version you know is not only wrong, it's hiding a deeper, stranger, full truth? This is the secret origin of Aladdin, the real one, filled with spices, sorcerers, jinn, and ancient legends that go all the way back to the holy book Quran itself. Let me tell you a story. You know the basics. A poor boy finds a magic lamp, a genie grants him wishes, he becomes rich, marries a princess, and defeats an evil sorcerer. Sounds like a timeless folktale from the Middle East, right? Wrong. The Aladdin we know today is a mix of imagination, misunderstanding, and Western rewrites, and it starts in a place you probably wouldn't expect. A French scholar named Antoine Galland is hard at work translating an Arabic collection of tales that you probably heard of, 1001 Nights. He wants something fresh, something no one has ever read in Europe. Then he meets a young Syrian traveler from Aleppo, Hannah Diab. Hannah tells Galland the story he's never heard before. A tale set not in Arabia, not in Babylon, not in Iraq, but in a fantastical version of China. So if Disney was going to hijack the story of Aladdin and present it to you in an untruth manner, the least he could have done is present it to you in a Chinese way. In this version, the story was about a boy named Aladdin, and Aladdin, for those of you that don't know, is an Arabic name, and it is an Islamic name, and it means he who has the most faith in God. There's also a genie in a lamp, a magical ring, and a sorcerer from North Africa. So what's the deal with this sorcerer from North Africa? Some scholars point out that the image of the evil sorcerer from the Maghrib, Morocco, may reflect deeper folklore fears, where outsiders, especially in North Africa, or in this case, old Moroccan stories, were often linked to secret magic. And in some cases, Jews were stereotyped as sorcerers. So this was a very anti-Semitic story, especially in Moroccan legends. While the Aladdin tale, the version of Disney, does not directly mention this, its roots in Maghrib folklore may carry those echoes. So, coming back to the story of Aladdin in China with the sorcerer from North Africa, Galland writes it down, but he adds to it. Here's the twist. It wasn't in the original Arabic manuscript. Hannah Diab may have made the entire story up, blending folklore, his own imagination, and perhaps something even older. In Hannah Diab's version, Aladdin is actually Chinese. But there is a strange twist. Although in this version, Aladdin is a lazy, poor Chinese boy living in China, but the city has mosques, and mosques are part of the Islamic religion. It has sultans. Sultans are part of the Islamic traditions. And it also has Arabic names. I just explained to you the meaning of Aladdin in Arabic, which sounds like this: Aladdin, he who has the most faith in God. So clearly, not real China. But why set it there? Well, one theory may be that in old tales, China often symbolized a far-off mystical land for European readers, and it added that exotic mystery. For Arab writers, it could represent the edge of the known world. So, Aladdin becomes a symbol, a boy from nowhere who rises to power with the help of a supernatural force. But we can conclude, and there is no doubt about it, that Aladdin, whatever you believe, whatever the origins, is meant as an Islamic boy, an Arabian Islamic boy. That is something that nobody can take away from the origin of this story. So why did Disney choose to rewrite it as an Indian story? I don't know. I have no idea. And they never explained it to us. Here is something in the Disney movie that was left out. Aladdin doesn't just have one genie. He has two genies. One in the lamp, one in a ring. And you could say that a spin-off of this is what you see in Lord of the Rings. One ring to rule them all. So Aladdin had two genies. Again, one in a lamp and one in the ring. The ring genie helps him escape the cave. The lamp genie builds him a palace and makes him rich. Later, the sorcerer steals the lamp, kidnaps the princess, and relocates the palace to Africa. So, Aladdin uses the ring genie to fight back and save the day. So, in a way, the ring genie is more powerful than the lamp genie. This idea of multiple spirits or jinn bound to objects was common in Arabic and Islamic folklore. Here I have to set one thing straight. This does not come from the Holy Book Quran. In Quran itself, we don't have jinns that are bound to objects. But in the Islamic folklore, and I hope you know the difference between what is folklore, what is tradition, what is religion. But in the Islamic folklore stories, yes, there were stories about jinn bound to objects. Like I said, in the original story, the villain is a magician from Maghreb. And Maghreb nowadays is Morocco, but the actual word Maghreb means the whole of North Africa on that side of the Mediterranean Sea. But in this version, he pretends to be Aladdin's uncle. He tricks him into finding the lamp, and he later returns to steal it and kidnap the princess. His name, we never hear it. But later versions gave him one, Jafar. One might say that they came up with his name just to tie an Arabic name to this whole mixed story. But Jafar was not the original name. There was no Jafar in the original story. In Disney's version, Jafar becomes the royal vizier, powerful sorcerer with political ambition. The name likely comes from real history. Yes, there is a famous vizier with this name, and his name is Jafar bin Yahya. He was a vizier to the Caliph Harun al-Rashid, a central figure in many Thousand and One Nights stories. He was helped to become a king by his mother in history. This is a true story. And yes, he is the lavish king, the loved parties. Yes, where you had belly dancers and music and all that. He was a real Khalifa. But Harun al-Rashid, although he was real, he does embody, let's say, the spirit of what is now Aladdin-ish stories that many Western cultures come to link it with. So yes, there was a vizier to, not a sultan, but a Khalifa. But I guess in a way you could say it's almost the same. But there was a vizier with that name. And I think that's where Disney got it from. Once Galland published Aladdin, it exploded in popularity across Europe. Victorian stage plays added songs, costumes, and jokes. Pantomimes in England turned it into a Christmas tradition. In 1992, Disney gave us flying carpets, pet parrots, and a blue genie voiced by Robin Williams. The story had evolved again. Here's the twist you didn't see coming. Aladdin's story, a human commanding jinn, gaining instant power, transporting palaces, and battle evil, bears an eerie resemblance to someone else. And that someone is a character from the Islamic religion. To be precise, the Prophet Solomon. Yes, I know the Jewish scripture talk about Solomon also, but the version of Solomon in the Holy Book of Quran differs a little bit. For example, in Quran, Solomon was not corrupted. And he was commander of not only jinns, but humans and animals. And he could speak and talk with all these races. So again, we're coming back to the Islamic tradition. Not the Chinese, not the Indian. Again, why Disney did choose to rewrite the story in an Indian fashion when they made the real action movie is a mystery to me. Solomon in Quran was a prophet king. He had control over the jinns. He traveled on the wind. He had a throne transported instantly. Sounds familiar. These aren't coincidence. Many stories in the Arab and Islamic culture include Solomon magic. Again, let me emphasize, although Solomon could do magic, he was not corrupted like the version of Solomon you will find in Hebrew scriptures, for example. So it's a different Solomon in a way. So Hannah the Yeb's tale may have borrowed from Quranic tradition. So in a way, Aladdin is a shadow of Solomon, but the Islamic version of Solomon, a secular echo of a sacred story. So who was Aladdin? Was he a Chinese boy, a Syrian invention, a Western rewrite, or a legend built on even older foundations? I guess you could say Aladdin is all of them. He is a timeless symbol of the underdog who rises, the poor boy with hidden power, the human who can command the spirit world. And the next time you rub a lamp in your imagination, remember, this tale isn't just about magic. Thanks for listening, and let me know which story we could uncover next. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll go there together. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. And we'll see you guys in another story.